Nick Keefe today, and sitting next to me is Tom Feeney for the build-up.
Well, good afternoon, Tim.
And Tom, it's a cold day out here today, and obviously the conditions with the weather this week, they could play a part. We've seen the ball struggling to bounce a bit on this pitch. The rain has been falling. Could that play a bit of a problem today in the game?
Well, I think first of all, it could very easily slow down Boston's game, which can only be seen as a positive. I think Guiseley, they've got used to these conditions. On Tuesday night, although the pitch was in a better condition than it is now due to the heavy rainfall that's happened this morning, Guiseley are a team that can play, with a bit of water on the pitch, and hopefully it'll help Guiseley get another 3 points.
Well, as we say, it's been tough conditions here, and it will be a tough one for both sides today, as the pitch is looking okay in front of us. But as we say, there is some water surface on the top of the pitch, so it'll be interesting to see how it goes on. But anyway, Tom was busy before the game getting some interviews. He started off having a little chat with Guiseley boss Mark Bauer.
Guiseley, just what are your thoughts on today's opponents, Boston?
Probably the best team we've seen this season. To be fair, when they beat us 3-0 down at their place, they put in a real good performance against us and showed why they are where they are in the league. They've a lot of different threats, good variety to the game. They pass it about well. They're very good from set pieces. They've got a bit of physical presence as well. So it'll be a very difficult game for us and a good barometer of how far we've come.
In terms of the team news, just what is the team news right now?
Same team, same subs as last week.
Is that just keeping it consistent? Winning run, why not change it?
I think so, yeah. I mean, we're trying to make it a case that if people come in, get a shirt and do well, then they deserve to keep it. I couldn't ask for any more last week. So we'll go with the same 11 today, but we've got a lot of options on the bench and a lot of quality on the bench. So if it's not their day today, we know we've got good options to change it around.
Do you think Boston United will be a team going for automatic promotion the way they've been playing?
I think they will. Yeah, I mean they've got some very good players, and it's like a lot of teams in the top half of the league. If they can keep their important players fit and a little bit of luck along the way, then there's no reason why they won't be. But I think that if we can keep picking up results as we're doing and just get more in touch with that leading 6 or 7, then we've a chance of doing something this season as well.
Thanks.
So that was Tom Feeney with Mark Bauer before today's game. Manager of the month, Mark Bauer of the Skrill North. It's obviously been a fantastic turnaround for the manager starting his campaign in September, and that was against Boston in a 3-0 defeat. So what has changed since then, Tom?
Well, I think first of all, Mark has he's galvanised the squad. When you look at the amount of players that have left, Mark really is in a position now where he's happy with the individuals that are here. I think getting back some old faces like Danny Forrest, that's a massive positive. And, that bit of experience in terms of Ben Parker, he really has just got the best out of some of these players. And, Alan Algar, one of the guys who decided that Mark Bauer should get this award, just said that when you compare how Guiseley were when Bauer took over to how they are now, that transformation is why he deserved it. And I completely agree.
And obviously last weekend, a massive win. Tom, you couldn't be there, unfortunately. You must have been kicking yourself that you couldn't make it against Halifax Town. A huge win in the Cup. Fantastic performance that Guiseley were able to witness. Tom, what does that mean as well for the club, that you can kind of push on for a win like that?
Well, it's fantastic, to go to the Shire ground that I went to a number of occasions last season, and I think I've been told the stick wasn't as bad as it was last season. There was a bit of banter though still, and it's just brilliant, AJ getting a goal against his former club. I thought it was unfair that he was got rid of by Halifax. I do think he's good enough to really be at the Skrill Premier level, and the goals he's getting prove that, and hopefully he can get a few more today.
Well, another player who's been part of this revival for Guiseley under Mark Bauer is Gavin Rothery, and Tom caught up with Gavin just before kick-off today.
So Gav, today, Boston United, what are your thoughts on them?
They're a decent side. I think they're second joint top in league, so it's going to be a tough game, but I think if we perform like we have been performing last few games, we can easily capable of beating them, so just need to do what we did last Saturday. Confidence is obviously high at the moment. Yep. Do you think another 3 points can only help that? Yeah, definitely. Like you say, it's a good habit to get in. Winning ways, just keep it going really and keep that momentum going. And we'll just say, what's the score prediction from you? Today? take a 1-2-0. Another clean sheet again, hopefully, which kept a few clean sheets on the bounce, and a couple of goals would be nice. So yeah, 2-0.
So that was Tom catching up before the game today with Gavin Rothery. And Tom, is there a positive atmosphere amongst the club, especially after the good few wins that have been coming in?
Yeah, I just think there's great team harmony with the club at the moment. Everyone's got a smile on their face. I think, what really emphasises it to me is Manchester United have lost to Newcastle, and about 5 or 6 guys who plays came up to me and were having a giggle about that result, and Mark Bauer was joining in. I just think, about a month ago when the results weren't there, it would have been a case that the mood wouldn't have been as good as it is nowadays. But, it's fantastic to see everyone's got a smile on their face, from the players on the pitch to the fans in the stadium. And it just, it really is a positive, and it's fantastic to see. Let's hope it continues to the end of the season.
Well, obviously, Guiseley in league action today. They were in cup action in the week, which Tom was able to watch against Selby Town. Tom, was it a good run out for the younger lads out there?
Well, yeah, I think first of all, when you look at the likes of Ben Whitfield, he was given a chance to play 90 minutes of football, and he did well. He didn't look out of place. When you look at the likes of Zach Dale, who's gone out on loan, there's a core of youth players here, and they are being given a chance in certain competitions. And I think there are one or two. Luke Porritt especially, I do think he can break through, maybe get a place on the bench now and again, and hopefully next season he'll be flying, because I do think there's enough here in terms of the academy for there to be signs of recovery after what's happened.
And obviously a great win we've got to mention as well for the academy. A great result, a draw against Crewe Alexander yesterday. So great signs for the youth coming up. As we saw last week as well, another win against Halifax Town as well. So it was a good double day last Saturday. But anyway, back to the action today. We're bringing you full commentary on Guiseley AFC radio of Guiseley against Boston United in the Skrill North, and the Skrill North is looking like this at the moment. At the top of the table is Solihull Moors on 33 points. Just below them in second is Hednesford Town, Altrincham, Brackley, North Ferriby, and our opponents today, Boston, all joint on 32 points. There are a lot of games in hand coming in, obviously with cup action, and as we'll play a part at the moment is game postponements. We'll see if we can bring you some at half-time that maybe didn't go ahead, and we'll also get you some scores from around. For Guiseley, they are sitting in 11th, joint on 22 points with Bradford Park Avenue. Bradford, the opponents, twice next week.
Yes.
Saturday and Monday in the FA Trophy and in the league. So we'll also bring you coverage of them. Down at the bottom end of the Skrill North, it's tough times for Gloucester City. They are sitting bottom of the league on 10 points, 3 points adrift of safety. Workington and Barrow also occupy the relegation spot places, both on 12 points. And Worcester City, Oxford City, just outside there, Gainsborough Trinity and Stockport, both on 16 points, 4 points away from the danger zone. But Tom, Boston sitting in 6th at the moment. They're looking good. Will it be a tough test for the Lions today? Yeah, it will. I think Mark, before the match said that they were the toughest team Guiseley faced while he's been manager. And it's just the options they have going forward. You look at their central defender who won Manager of the Month, fantastic player, someone who can get a few goals from corners. They've just got that many options going forward, Boston. What I have to say, though, is Guiseley, they're a few points behind at the moment, but if Guiseley can continue this run, I do think they'll be catching Boston up sooner rather than later. Well, today is another chance for Guiseley to push up the surge towards the playoffs, which really will be the target, I'm sure, for Mark Bauer come the end of the season. We'll go through the team news we have at the moment. Teams come in for the game. We'll start with the opponents, Boston United. In goal for them, number 1, Lewis King, Liam Mars, Reen Steer, Connor Marshall, Scott Garner, Player of the Month, Carl Piergiani. It's a tough one to pronounce, but I just got there. Ian Ross, the skipper, Jake Hall, Ricky Miller, Mark Newsham, and Spencer Weir Daly. And on the bench for Boston is Indy Uija, apologies there for anyone who lost us there. We had a power cut in the main stand. Frustrations today with technical sides, but we'll try and give you a faultless coverage of the game from now on anyway. But we'll return you to the team news. If we lost you again, we'll just go through this Boston lineup quickly. It was Lewis King, Lewin Mars, Reen Steer, Connor Marshall, Scott Garner, Carl Piergianni, Ian Ross the skipper, Jake Hall, Ricky Miller, Mark Newsham and Spencer Weir-Daly. On the bench for Boston is Indy Uigia, Ben Milnes, Neaton Sansara, Charlie Sanders and Stefan Galinsky. For the Lions, it's unchanged from that fantastic win at Halifax last weekend. In goal, Stephen Drench, Andy Holdsworth, Reece Maynell, Jack Rear, Adam Lockwood, Danny Hall, Wayne Brooksby, Danny Boschel, Alex Johnson, the goal scorer from last weekend, on fire. Can he do it again? And to complete the lineup is Danny Forrest and Gavin Rothery. On the bench for the Lions today is Jake Lawler, Michael Potts, Craig Hobson, Ben Parker and Stephen Dickinson. So unchanged lineup. A big name in there, Tom, is Danny Hall, signed from on loan to a permanent contract this week. How big a part can he play for this Guiseley revival?
Well, he's been such a crucial part so far during the month that he'd been there on loan. And what I would say is, guys have got lucky in the way that they've been able to sign him. He had a falling out with his previous club, Celtic Nation, and that is the only reason why he's actually come here, because he was doing quite well for them. He's done really well for us, and keeping that same 11, it keeps the momentum going, and hopefully another 3 points can be gained.
Well, as we say that, the teams are coming out of the tunnel. Guiseley in their white top, blue shorts, blue socks. Boston in their yellow and black tops, and the rest of the kit is yellow. And as we return to the action here, we will have full commentary, as we say. Nick Keefe providing the insight today, and me and Tom will be providing summary of the games as well. Tom, just a word before we provide you the commentary on Alex Johnson. Obviously,
if it's cleared the fence quite comfortably, so that'll be safe for someone to go and take the padlock off at half time and go and get that one back.
I think it was a bit confident there from Piergianni, that far out on his left foot. He gave it a good whack, but no, it flew over, and that kind of sums up Boston so far this first half. They haven't really been able to trouble Guiseley as much and get many chances on goal, but Guiseley will need to be aware in these closing stages of the first half that they don't let Boston into the game.
I think that's right, and there's been a scarcity of chances for Boston, and maybe that's what led to the bit of rush of blood to the head for Piergianni there. He saw it opening up for him and thought he'd have a go at going all the way, but his shot was not good. And Boston have been in possession, but it's been given away. And Alex Johnson has been set free with the ball at his feet into the Boston half. He's played it to the right to Danny Boschel, who's been forced all the way out to the touchline, and he plays it back to Brooksby, who has it now at his feet. Brooksby will play a back heel, clever little back heel to Boschel, trying to make space to get the cross in. He's knocked it infield to Holdsworth, to Rothery. Holdsworth has got it on the inside the area, and it looked like he was brought down inside the area. He was. The referee's given it, and that looked like a clear penalty, and that's why the referee has given it. And Guiseley now, in the 42nd minute, have an opportunity to go 1 goal to the good in this game. How did you see that, Tim?
Yeah, no questions about it. That was a clear penalty. Holdsworth did really well to push himself towards into the box and was just bundled over clearly. He's still on the ground. He's picking himself up now. And what a chance now for Guiseley in this first half to open the scoring.
It was all just a little bit too quick and a little bit too incisive for the Boston defence, I think, there. And Guiseley had men. And there was Brooksby, Holdsworth, Rothery, Boschel, all involved in that move, quick into play and passing, and in the end, Holdsworth found himself on the edge of the 6-yard box, about to square it to a Johnson who would have had a gaping goal-scoring opportunity, and the foul came in from behind. Anyway, Rothery will take the penalty. He strides up, he plays it hard, but is saved by King. To be honest, it was a little bit too central. He hit it well, but it was not far enough into the corner, and King got a strong hand behind it and turned it around the post. Good save.
Yeah, Rothery, as we say, could have placed it a little bit better there, but credit to King, the keeper there. He managed to get a hand down to his right, push it out for a corner, strong keeping, and that's just what Boston needed to keep them in this first half.
Now Guiseley take the corner looking for Lockwood or Hall underneath it, but it beats both of them and it curls all the way out for a Boston goal kick, and Guiseley will be kicking themselves that they've had that chance and it's not brought the goal that would have been a reward for all of their endeavours in the first half. And truth be told, as we said, although he hit the penalty well, it just wasn't far enough towards the post, towards the keeper's right, and the keeper went the correct way, and it took a strong hand, but he turned it around, and that will be very encouraging for Boston that they've managed to weather the storm there, see that penalty chance off, and maybe now they will get into half time at 0-0. Johnson with his back to goal finds Jack Ray and Boschel, and Jack Ray moves it out to the left to Rhys Maynell, who steps forward at pace, plays it in field to Danny Forrest, who thought that they'd heard a call from Johnson behind him and left it, but Johnson wasn't there. Guiseley have won it back well though. Jack Ray again doing the works, now stepping forward, sets Alex Johnson free on the left, going towards the corner flag. He's got a chance to put the cross in with his right foot, and he does. He finds Forrest, who jinks past, takes the shot on his left, it goes off the inside of the post, and Danny Forrest from outside the area with his left foot. A really good goal for Guiseley. After it looked like the best chance of the half had gone, he's hit it off the inside of King's right post, and it's Guiseley 1, Boston 0.
Yeah, great finish from Danny Forrest there. It was on his left foot. He struggled to get the shot away, but in the end managed to turn it onto his left foot, smash it in off the post, and that's just what Guiseley needed after the penalty miss. A frustrating time for them. They managed to break the deadlock here, and that could be a massive goal late on in the first half.
And that goal coming in the 45th minute, it couldn't have come at a better time after the missed penalty just a couple of moments before, and Forrest showing that he is able to shoot with his left as well as his right, and the defender had allowed him, I think, onto his weaker foot, and he took it and he curled it, and it just got enough of the inside of the post to nestle into the opposite corner of the net. It's a great goal to see from where we were. We were right behind it. Good work from Alex Johnson as well in the build-up again, getting into the right positions. Speaking of good positions, Steer is now looking for a Boston man in the box, and it's Marshall. Marshall back to Steer, and Steer has played it infield to Ross. Plays it to the advancing Marshall, and Marshall takes a long and speculative shot, and it's repelled by Guiseley, but it's come back to Marshall. Plays it across to Ross, and now Boston camped in the Guiseley half. It's forward to Miller, and Miller can't find Mars with it, and in the end, between them, they've managed to concede a goal kick to Guiseley, and that might be enough to get Guiseley through to half-time. Boston doing exactly what they wanted to there. Straight after the goal, they've got good possession, good attacking possession, and made themselves some chances in that move, but Guiseley holding out. Maybe we'll get into half-time at 1-0. Drench has taken the goal kick, and as he does, the referee blows his whistle. An entertaining first half of football, Tim, and we were a bit worried that we might not see a goal for all of it, but it's come on the stroke of half-time. It's Danny Forrest, the returning Danny Forrest, showing that he's an effective player on that left inside forward position, and he took up a good position on the edge of the box, jinked past two defenders who allowed him onto his left foot, and with his left he curled it off the inside of the post to beat King and get Guiseley the all-important goal that sees them 1-0 up at half-time.
Yeah, really important time to score for Guiseley just before half-time. Danny Forrest took his chance really well. It wasn't much of a chance from where he was on the edge of the box with his left foot. But for Guiseley, that's a fantastic way to finish the first half. And yeah, as you say, a great half-time score then to go in with. So, thanks Nick for the first half commentary there. Really great work, and we hope you're enjoying here on Guiseley AFC Radio. We hope your connection's been all right with us. And now it's time for some half-time talk. We'll go through some of the scores at half-time from around the grounds. Starting off in the Premier League, the early kick-off was the massive upset Newcastle winning 1-0 away at Man U. So Alan Pardew winning the Manager of the Month there. The curse of the Manager of the Month obviously not playing a part, just as it's happened with Guiseley here as well. Mark Bauer, Manager of the Month, but so far so good. 1-0 up at half time. As we say, Manchester United shocked at home against Newcastle, losing 1-0. Elsewhere in the Premier League, the latest scores are Crystal Palace 1, Cardiff 0. Jerome with the goal for Crystal Palace in the great revival at the moment. Liverpool lead at home to West Ham. Demel with the own goal. Unfortunate there for West Ham, but Liverpool continue their surge up the Premier League. It's Southampton 1, Manchester City 1. Aguero opened the scoring for Man City, but Osvaldo managed to equalise for Southampton late in the second half. Between Stoke and Chelsea, it's been an entertaining first half. Goals at the Britannia Stadium, which you don't usually see. But Chelsea did lead through Schürrle after 9 minutes, but Stoke managed to equalise on 42 minutes. Peter Crouch scoring. So Stoke 1, Chelsea 1 is the latest score at the Britannia Stadium. And the final half-time scoreline in the Premier League is West Bromwich Albion 0, Norwich 1. Hooper with the goal for Norwich. And the later kick-off will be Sunderland v Tottenham in the Premier League. So we'll move on to the Championship now. As well for that, we've got some scorelines from the other leagues, as well as the FA Cup second round. We'll try and get some scores from there. In the Championship, in the early kick-off of the game, it was a massive win at home for Derby County. They won 5-1 at home to Blackpool. They fell behind early on, but they managed to turn it around thanks to a Chris Martin hat-trick and a goal from Craig Bryson and Richard Keogh. They managed to push on for another massive win. Derby doing well at the moment. Blackpool had 2 men sent off in the second half that will have played a part. But the early kick-off was Derby 5, Blackpool 1. Elsewhere in the Championship at half-time, it's Birmingham 0, Middlesbrough 1. It's Bolton 2, Doncaster 0. Doncaster not going well here away at Bolton, 2-0 down at half-time. It's Brighton 2, Leicester 0. Leicester were top of the league last weekend, but they're starting to dip a little bit. Poor first half for them in terms of a scoreline. They are 2-0 down away at Brighton. It's Burnley 0, Barnsley 0, goalless there in the first half. Ipswich 0, Huddersfield 1. Great first half for Huddersfield as Ward's got the goal for them. Away at Ipswich. It's been a terrible first half for Leeds, we have to say. They are 2-0 down at home to Watford. Watford, tough opposition, but Leeds will feel unhappy at that first half scoreline. They're 2-0 down thanks to goals from Deeney and Bertocchio for Watford. Elsewhere in the Championship, it's Millwall 1, Wigan 0. Morrison with the goal for Millwall, as Wigan trail at half-time there in Millwall. It's QPR 0, Blackburn 0, goalless between two sides who will be hoping to push up the table. QPR doing really well so far. Blackburn struggling slightly. They'll be hoping they can push on up the table. Maybe in the second half, a tough game there at QPR. It's Reading 0, Bournemouth 2. Great first half for Bournemouth. Graben and Ritchie with the goals for Bournemouth. It's goalless between Sheffield Wednesday and Nottingham Forest. And the final first half scoreline in the Championship is Yeovil 0, Charlton 2. Great first half for Charlton, Stewart and Jackson. So, as we remind you here at Nethermoor, Guiseley are 1 goal to the good. A late first half strike from Danny Forrest. The difference between the two sides here against Boston United. So Guiseley looking strong in Cup and League at the moment after a great couple of wins in the Cups so far this week. They've turned it to the League today, and so far so good as they are 1-0 up. The only scoreline so far in the in League One, as games obviously with the FA Cup are going ahead, is Notts County 1, Gillingham 0 at half-time. We'll move on to League Two and hopefully get you some scorelines from the Skrill North as well, the all-important league for you Guiseley fans. In League Two, the only game again going ahead is Morecambe 0, Cheltenham 0, so goalless there. In the Skrill Premier, we have some half-time scorelines. What a first half for Luton. They are 4-0 up at half-time. A crazy 8 minutes in that game away at Alfreton, as they got 4 goals in the first 18 minutes there. Crazy first half. Alfreton 0, Luton 4. It's Barnet 1, Dartford 0, Chester 0, Braintree 1. Halifax are in action after their defeat at home to Guiseley in the FA Trophy last week, and it's not going well for them again. They are 3-1 down at half-time, Halifax. Love to give them the goal, but a double from Marriott and one from Rendell has put Woking firmly in control at half-time at the Shea. And the only other game that goes ahead in the Skrill North is Hereford 0, Nuneaton 1. Malt with the penalty for Nuneaton. So, fingers crossed, we'll be able to get you some scorelines from the Conference North. Sometimes they do delay a bit, but we'll see which ones we can get in. So far we have Telford 0, Leamington 0 is a half-time scoreline. Barrow 0, Gainsborough Trinity 3. Gainsborough struggling in the Skrill North at the moment, but they are 3-0 up at half-time away at Barrow. Fantastic scoreline for them. As we said, it's Guiseley 1, Boston 0 here at Nethermoor. Danny Forrest goal, the difference between the two sides. We'll still wait for some scorelines between some other games that are there. Gloucester City play Hednesford Town today. Harrogate Town play Altrincham. Histon play Stalybridge. North Ferriby host Solihull Moors. But 2 other scorelines. A team that Guiseley will be already familiar with, but they'll be even more familiar this time next week coming up, is Bradford Park Avenue. They are away at Vauxhall Motors today, and they are 1-0 up. Walker with the goal for Bradford Park Avenue, so they'll be hoping that they can win there today, but Guiseley will be hoping that maybe it won't lead anything towards when they play them twice next week, once in the league and once in the FA Trophy. And the final other game in the Skrill North is Workington 0, Colwyn Bay 2. So great first half for Colwyn Bay away at Workington in the Skrill North. So that's the games we've got for you so far. We do, however, have some FA Cup fixtures as well, as the second round is underway. There'll be some teams familiar here as the League 1 and League 2 sides entered the competition in the last round, but also some of the Skrill North and the Skrill Premier sides and Skrill South and below that may possibly have been in there. So the FA Cup scorelines at half-time, it's Bristol Rovers 0, Crawley 0, Carlisle 1, Brentford 0, Chesterfield 1, Southend 2, Fleetwood 0, Burton 0, Grimsby 0, Northampton 0, goalless there as well. Hartlepool 0, Coventry 1. Coventry lead there at Hartlepool. Kidderminster 3, Newport 0. It's Leyton Orient 1, Walsall 0. Macclesfield 1, Brackley Town 0. It's MK Dons 0, Dover Athletic 0. Dover will be hoping to cause an upset there away at MK Dons. It's Oldham 1, Mansfield 1. Peterborough have a 2-0 lead at home to Tranmere. Plymouth, no problems at home against Welling. They're 3-0 up. Rotherham 1-0 up over Rochdale. It's Stevenage 1, Stourbridge 0. And the final game in the FA Cup today is Wickham 0, Preston 1. So that's all the scores from around the ground. We're here on Guiseley AFC Radio at Nethermoor. Half-time scoreline is Guiseley 1, Boston United 0. And joining us for the second half is Tom Feeney to provide some summary with the commentary with Nick Keefe again. And Tom, what have you made of that first half so far?
Well, fantastic, isn't it? When you look at how well Guiseley have played against the side, remember, they are in a position, we're in the playoffs at the moment, they were trying to get automatic promotion. Really, Boston haven't been able to turn up today. Guys have been playing so well, and really shouldn't just be a goal up, it should be 2 or 3. Alex Johnson, I thought he'd scored. Very good save by the keeper. Of course, the penalty, again, Lewis King keeping Boston in it. And then the goal by Forrest. What a fantastic finish that is. And, you know, hopefully Guiseley won't come back to Rue when you look at the chances they've not been able to take at the end of the day. And it'll be 3 points for the Lions.
And yeah, obviously with Boston doing so well in the league so far, they compose a threat here, and Guiseley will need to be switched on. What about this defensive partnership? How are they coping so far in this first half, Tom? Lockwood and Hall?
I think Lockwood and Hall, you know, I think at the start it looked like something might happen, but they've just been able to show the composure. You know, they're experienced players, they know exactly what they're doing, and they've been able to keep Mark Newsham quiet, and I think that's a real, you know, congratulations to him, because Newsham, 98 goals in 200 games for Boston, fantastic striker, but as the game wears on, hopefully the Guiseley defenders won't tire, because if they do, Newsham will be ready to pounce.
Yeah, Guiseley will need to be aware. As well, a player who's been looking slightly lively on the left is for Boston is Spencer Weir-Daly. Holdsworth just about keeping hold of him so far. Tom, how do you make of that battle? Do you think that could liven up in the second half a bit?
Well, yeah, I think it's an intriguing one. You know, Weir-Daly just by the end looked a little bit frustrated because he nearly had Holdsworth on 1 or 2 occasions, but both times Holdsworth were just able to get back, get a tackle in and bring Weir-Daly down. Hopefully in the second half, you know, that'll continue, but I think Weir-Daly's one of these players, he can keep that level of intensity for 90 minutes. Hopefully Holdsworth can as well, he normally can, but that will be one of the intriguing battles for the next half.
Yeah, definitely, and Tom, we've seen as well in this first half, as we said before the game, the surface may pose some questions, and you can see it was looking great first half before the game, the surface, but it is getting chopped up a bit now. That could cause some problems for both sides in the second half.
Well, yeah, as you were saying, it were looking all right, but there's been so much rain in the last 15-20 minutes. You know, 1 or 2 players are now out just, you know, seeing how the ground is, and when the ball's being thrown in the air now, it doesn't seem to be bouncing that well at all, and that will be a worry. But hopefully this game can continue and be 3 points for Guiseley.
Well, as the teams are coming back out for the second half, I'll leave you with the final words of Tom for this second half, as he will provide some summary with Nick Keefe's commentary. So I hope you've enjoyed it for the second half, and I'll say thanks for listening to me for the first half, and I'll pass you on to Tom Feeney.
Well, what a fantastic first half it was for Guiseley after gaining a very good goal from Danny Forrest in the end. Let's hope that continues for the second half. Nick, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think it's a fascinating second half in prospect. Guiseley just 1 goal to the good, and Boston have shown signs of life, definitely. They've shown the potential to do something more than they have so far in this game. But of course, Guiseley have an excellent defensive record at the moment, don't they? And with the defensive record of clean sheets that they've had, and an increasing ability to see out games, that's much different to how the season started. We don't want to bang on about the earlier part of the season, but you know, when those first couple of wins Guiseley came along, the 1-goal victory, 3-2 away to North Ferriby, and 1 or 2 of the other games around then, it just looked like they'd lost the winning habit, and they couldn't quite see a one-goal lead out. You've got a little bit more confidence today than back then that they can do that. And of course, if you want to stop the nerves jangling, they're going to need another one to be really sure, because Boston are above them in the table. They are on top form, and they bring with them 2 of the best strikers in the division, and 2 of the most successful strikers at the moment in the division, in Mark Newsham and Spencer Weir-Daly. as Guiseley take the kick-off in the second half. So thank you if you're just joining us on Guiseley AFC Radio. You find us, as we say, 1-0 up at half-time. Guiseley getting the goal just on the cusp of the break, and it was Danny Forrest. Really good sweeping move by Guiseley, getting in behind the Boston defence, making space for Danny Forrest, who jinked this way and that and got the ball onto his left and curled it off the inside of the post to get that all-important goal after Gavin Rothery had missed a penalty just before that. And we'll go through the teams in a moment as Spencer Weir-Daly plays it to Ross, who plays it first time over the top, and Danny Hall is alert to head it back confidently to the keeper Drench. And those teams are unchanged at half-time, I think. And for the away side, Boston United, it's King in goal, Liam Mars at right back, Rene Steer at left back. The central defenders, Scott Garner and Carl Piergianni. And 3 central midfielders, as one of them comes away with the ball, and he's played it infield to Newsham, and Boston almost looked like they were going to make something there until Andy Holdsworth intervened, brings it away, and Gavin Rothery is forced off the ball, and Boston will start again. And that 4-3-3 formation then, the 3 midfielders, Connor Marshall, Ian Ross the captain, and Jake Hall, and the 3 forward players, Ricky Miller, Mark Newsham and Spencer Weir-Daly. And Boston are in possession now with Ross inside their own half as they play towards the railway end in this second period of the game. And he plays a long ball forward looking for the run of Newsham. Adam Lockwood is first to it, but he couldn't do much more than to knock it out for a throw-in. And that gives Boston a chance to get all of their men forward, and maybe Mars will take a long throw-in into the box. He doesn't actually. It's short to Miller, plays it back to Mars, who's trying to get space to get the cross in. In fact, he plays it to Miller, who crosses it on his left, looking for the encroaching Steer, who was all the way back forward from left back. And Andy Holdsworth and Drench between them managed to see the danger away there. So the Guiseley teams, Stephen Drench in goal, the captain Andy Holdsworth at right back, Maynell at left back, and then central defensive partnership of Adam Lockwood and the newly contracted Danny Hall. And then the 2 defensive midfielders, or the deeper midfielders, Jack Ray and Danny Boschel. And then the 3 more advanced midfielders, Gavin Rothery in the centre with Forrest on the left and Brooksby on the right behind. The familiar lone striker on the ball now, Alex Johnson, picks it up with his back to goal and plays it to Danny Forrest, who runs across the pitch with it, takes his time to pick out a pass along the ground to Brooksby on the right, who runs past Steer, and he's coming in across the edge of the box, and he's dispossessed by a Boston man just as he was about to pull the trigger with his left foot on taking a shot. Good challenge by Andy Holdsworth on the halfway line as Brooksby's having his shirt pulled. The referee plays advantage as Brooksby finds Rothery. Rothery on the edge of the area plays it outright to Andy Holdsworth. Infield again to Brooksby, to Rothery, I'm sorry. Rothery skipping across the face of goal finds Alex Johnson, and Andy Holdsworth with the cross, first time into the box. Coming in at the back post was Danny Forrest, but he heads it down, and it's easy for Lewis King, the keeper, to collect. And a frantic start to this second half, Tom, so sorry I haven't brought you in yet, but as Stephen Drench has the ball and plays it out to Rhys Maynell, we have a chance to maybe just breathe for a second and say what a good start to the second half this has been, Tom.
Well, fantastic half, it really has. Both teams are going for it. You know, the way guys are defending that, it's really positive at the moment. Andy Holdsworth cutting that pass out a few moments ago. Really good defending there. And hopefully, guys, they've got a free kick now. Hopefully can make something of it.
Yeah, and Boschel takes the free kick out to the left, and it's Rothery jinking around, comes in onto his right, but the cross is wildly overhit, diagonally across the box, all the way out into the car park. And that will do for that move. And King will restart with a goal kick.
Well, I think it's one of them with Rothery. He seems to be caught in 2 minds. Is he going to have a shot? Is he going to have a cross? And in the end, it's just such a poor effort. It does get straight into the car park, but it's good to see guys are getting forward.
Now the left-footed goal kick from King finds a Guiseley shirt, and it's Brooksby right against the touchline, looking for Alex Johnson with a pass into the channel, but it's easy for Piergianni to step across and intercept, and Boston are back in possession now. Long ball forward from Garner, looking for Miller at the back corner, but he's knocked it down into the path of Well, anyway, it's Miller back on the ball now. It was Marshall who got it, but in the meantime, Andy Holdsworth and Brooksby between them have managed to see Miller off the ball and win it back, but it's only got as far as the Boston midfield, and they are piling men forward, and Steer on the overlap crosses it into the box, and it's straight to Stephen Drench. But a further reminder that Boston are a dangerous team on the break, and when they get bodies forward, Guiseley are going to have their wits about them with just a 1-goal lead to defend, Tom.
Well, yeah, the way Boston are getting men forward at the moment is really impressive, bringing both their fullbacks up as well, and they're asking some questions for Guiseley. Luckily, so far, they've been able to answer them.
Yeah, that's right. And Johnson has been adjudged to have backed into a defender there after a clearance from Guiseley, and I don't think there's many Guiseley fans in the crowd who agree with that, but these sort of decisions seem to go with Johnson. He does like the physical tussles with the defenders, and sometimes he gets the decision and sometimes he doesn't. And in the meantime, Ross has lofted the ball across the pitch from the left onto the right-hand edge of the Guiseley box, but it's just a little bit too high for everybody, and it's comfortably out for a goal kick to Stephen Drench. And it's all just calmed down a little bit after that frantic opening, hasn't it, Tom? Yeah,
it's good to see, as long as it remains 1-0, that's great to see. I think their guys have got away with one there because Boston brought nearly everyone forward. It's such a poor free kick, goes straight out of play for a goal kick. But on another day, if that's a decent connection, then, there's quite a few players in the area and there might have been a struggle for Guiseley.
That's right. One of the visiting Boston press team told us beforehand that Ian Ross's set pieces, the captain, something to look out for from midfield, and he has looked to take most of those free kicks and corners where he can. And if one of those comes off, one of those practiced moves comes off, then Boston will find themselves right back in this game. Danny Hall is just stretching out his hamstrings and his calves as he waits for Rhys Maynell to take a throw in. We'll just check that that's nothing more than just a bit of keeping warm as the rain comes down and the temperature drops. And we could do without any defensive changes for Guiseley. As King takes a long clearance and it finds the head of Newsham, who tries to flick it on to Miller, and Holdsworth and Hall between them see it back to Drench. Plays it first time long to Scott Garner, and that clearance is coming down with snow on it, and that snow lands on the head of Danny Hall. Can only find it as far as the left back Steer, who's up, and he's been charged down by Wayne Brooksby, but from sort of 25 yards away from goal. The charge down of the cross by Brooksby deflects all the way out for a Boston corner, and as Ross goes over to take this, it'll be an in-swinging corner on his right foot. Guiseley have got all of their players, apart from Alex, back inside the area, and all but two of the others inside the 6-yard box. So it is really crowded in there, lots of bodies, but unfortunately for Boston, the corner ignored all of the bodies in the box, went straight over the top, and much as we saw with one of Wayne Brooksby's in the first half, is closer to bouncing at the far corner flag than it was anywhere in the area.
Well, it's a repeat of the free kick that was taken by Boston a few minutes ago. And again, that's great to see for guys. If Boston keep wasting chances, brilliant. But, it's just a little reminder that Boston are bringing men forward. They want to get this equaliser, of course. They really would be wanting to get a point at Nethermoor. Hopefully, guys, they can get all three.
Yeah, and Alex Johnson was backed into or knocked from behind by Marshall, I think it was, or Garner that time. Nothing given by the referee, and Johnson protesting, and he will stop and have a little word with the referee, I think, as well. Johnson does, as we say, get into a lot of challenges with his back to goal, and he's very good at it. He doesn't get all of the decisions, but it keeps the defenders alert, and they always know that if they're a bit too forceful from behind, there's a chance they're going to give away a free kick. Guiseley are going to start again with Andy Holdsworth with the throw-in, finds Johnson, whose return pass for Holdsworth is intercepted and knocked into the left channel. Hall steps across, and it's a clearance that's high up into the air, and it's a Boston throw on the left for Steer to take. And the Guiseley fans just sensing that their home side is under the cosh a little bit, that Boston have come out and put a bit of extra pressure on. Miller turns to face goal, plays it to the left, and the cross is coming in from the left, but it's a weak one from Jake Hall, and it floats out of play behind goal. Chance to get in behind the Guiseley defence and play a dangerous ball across. And again, Guiseley will be relieved to see that go behind, but warning signs for them.
Well, it's just yet again Boston getting plenty of players in the right positions. About 4 or 5 players in the penalty area. Again, a really poor cross, just misses everyone, goes straight out for a goal kick. And it means Guiseley, again with Steve Drench, can just clear this. But again, it's a warning.
So the Lions have successfully navigated the first 10 minutes of the second half, but there are signs that Boston have every opportunity of drawing level in this game. And for Guiseley, they have to decide the right balance between defending that lead and maintaining enough of a threat going forward to stop Boston from just piling men into their half as they're doing right now. Only 2 Boston players are inside their own territory, and they're almost on the halfway line. As Liam Mars, the right back, takes a throw in. About halfway into the Guiseley half, he plays it to Ross, to Mars, and Mars is working his way down the touchline, and it's to Newsham, I think, is on Spencer Ware-Daly, I think, over on the... I'm not sure who that is anymore, but it doesn't matter. It's a throw-in to the blonde-haired Mars, who's easy to spot at distance from the far side, despite the rain and the darkness, and Boston have it on the edge of the area. A shot comes in, and Newsham's looking for a rebound to tidy up, but I think he might have been offside anyway. In the meantime, it goes behind for a Drench goal kick, and they are turning the screw, aren't they, Boston?
Yeah, it's getting a bit worrying now because they are just bringing so many men forward, and guys are in a position where Alex Johnson's just inside Guiseley's half throughout most of these attacks. Just going back to that last chance, I think if it had gone in, it would have been given because the referee gave a goal kick, even though I did think Newsham was offside, and I did think he handled it as well.
That's a good spot, and this is a good spot by Alex Johnson. Plays the ball to Wayne Brooksby, who's forced onto the right, but he's beaten the left-back Steer, and he's onto the edge of the box, and Steer's recovered well to try and chase him down, and in the end, it took 2 or 3 people to dispossess Brooksby, and in the process of trying to maintain possession, the referee says that Brooksby fouled a Boston defender, and they'll win a free kick on the edge of their box. And bit of a 50-50 sort of decision that, and a frustrating one, but Brooksby looking dangerous with it at his feet, and that will remind Steer that he mustn't forget his defensive duties, even as Boston are asking him to get further and further forward as they chase an equaliser. Boston play a ball over the top, and they've turned Guiseley's defence. Miller has it almost down by the corner flag, and Maynell's keeping him under pressure, but he's allowed him to turn, and Miller's coming on to the edge of the box, onto his left foot, rifles a shot in along the ground, but it clatters against the signs behind the goal. And I tell you what, Boston, if they don't produce a goal from this, they will feel like they haven't done themselves justice with the possession they've had so far since the break. Yeah, definitely. We were a bit worrying there the way Miller was just able to run about 10 yards unopposed, gets the shot away. It's, quite a poor effort, 3 or 4 yards wide. But again, it's just all about guys that they've got to maintain that pressure, because if they don't, Boston will make them pay. That's right, and with strikers of the quality of Newsham, they will only need one clear chance in the area to equalise potentially. And it is still Boston in possession. Long ball from right back comes across to find Ware-Daly on the edge of the box, turns onto his right, goes past Andy Holdsworth, knocks it forward looking for Miller, and it's just a little bit ahead of him, and Drench collects it gratefully and picks it up in the area now. And as he jogs towards the edge of the box, as he tries to just take the sting out and let the Guiseley players get back into formation and push out, he's got to be thinking he's seeing a little bit too much of the team in orange and black running towards his goal in the first 15 minutes of the second half. And Andy Holdsworth, the captain, takes a throw-in on the right hand of the pitch, down in front of us, as Guiseley shoot towards the car park end, the AstroTurf end, whatever it's called, in the second half, and he finds Alex Johnson, and Johnson's running away from goal with his back to it, but he picks out Danny Forrest, who's still coming across the pitch to the right, finds Brooksby, and Brooksby runs with it in towards the edge of the box, and he's trying to get a cross in, and he does, past Steer at the back post. Is just too high for Danny Forrest, who leapt but he couldn't get his head to it. And in the meantime, it's been intercepted by Maynell, and Boschel has it, and he finds Rothery, and it's now Guiseley's turn to get forward a little bit with Forrest on the left in front of the main standing terrace. And he's trying to go past Mars, but Mars has the better of it, and his pass back to his defender was almost chased down by Alex Johnson, but Boston have held on to it, and it's their turn to build and try and turn the defence again. This time it's Newsham trying to run Lockwood. Lockwood heads the ball out for a throw-in on his left. It's Boston's right, and Mars comes forward to take the throw-in into Guiseley territory again, and Guiseley have got everybody back in their own half. Alex Johnson by far the furthest forward, and he's not quite as far as the halfway line. Boston have it, approaching the edge of the box now, going past Jack Ray was the midfielder Hall, but Guiseley have just about managed to get it out for a throw-in, and the Boston fans, the travelling, visiting supporters who are in the Stocks stand, making their voices heard as the throw-in is being taken just from in front of them. We're just waiting for that throw-in to be taken by Mars now. And it's to Miller, and Miller's crowded out and forced back, and Johnson trying to chase the defenders, but unfortunately Johnson's also back inside his own half, and he can't rush the defenders, and they're relying on a loose ball. It's gone over the top of Guiseley's defence, and I don't know why Rhys Maynell let it go over his head, and could have had every opportunity to see it out for a giveaway a corner. In the end, he allowed Mars all the way into the 6-yard box, and it was a very hairy, precarious situation that Drench was delighted to resolve by grabbing the ball. But Maynell was caught napping a bit there. Anyway, Guiseley's turn to attack now. It's end-to-end stuff, and the ball coming across from Forrest is high and misdirected. It was a bit of a cross-come shot, but either way, it's closer to the corner flag again than anywhere else.
Well, just going back to Rhys Maynell there, he clearly misjudges where he stood, because he thinks the ball's gone out of play. So he's such a look on his face when Liam Mars has got the ball, crosses it in. Luckily, Steve Drench is just able to have enough about him to catch the attempted pass. But, you know, for Guiseley now, I think it's all about just trying to slow the momentum down that Boston are building, because they're bringing so many men forward. Every time they get going forward, it looks like they might have a chance to get a goal. As for Guiseley, every time they get forward during this second half, a lot of these shots have going quite a bit wide. Positive thing is regarding Wayne Brooksby, because he'll be given quite a bit of room to run now, because it does look like Rene Steer is being moved forward and will be playing more of a wing role rather than being a fullback.
Yeah, it's Ben Milnes who's come on, number 14 for... did you catch who that was that he came on for, Tom? We'll keep our eyes open anyway. We'll see if we can spot it. But it is Milnes on, and he's a midfielder, we understand, coming on in the 57th minute. And they're adding an extra body into midfield. And as we speak, Ian Ross is going to take a free kick, looping into the box, looking for a Boston head. Lockwood gets his head to it first, though, and then Maynell with a header, and finally Hall with a clearance that makes it all the way to the away dugout, where Boston will restart with a throw-in. So we'll just see if we can spot what changes have been made to Boston's shape, if any, there. And not sure any of us caught who went off. Professional work. We'll figure it out in a moment. Yeah. In the meantime, a long ball, speculative ball, looking for Alex Johnson over the top, was well ahead of him, and Lewis King collects it on the edge of his area, plays it out to Pierre Gianni. And Pierre Gianni finds Garner. And Scott Garner strides forward over the halfway line with it before he stops and tries to pick out a pass, looking for Newsham in the Guiseley area, diagonally across from where he was. And Wayne Brooksby's tracked back all the way to the goal line, and Newsham still beat him, and he's beaten another Guiseley man. Newsham still has the ball in the box, and eventually the 4 Guiseley defenders managed to see the ball away, with Newsham causing all sorts of trouble in there for Guiseley. Alex Johnson has a chance to turn with the ball on the halfway line, but he's crowded out, 2 or 3 men around him, and Boston come forward again, and a very loose pass gives Andy Holdsworth a throw-in, level with the edge of his area, but Boston looking more and more dangerous as this half progresses, Tom.
Well, Mark Newsham, they're nearly taking full advantage. Wayne Brooksby, of course, not a defender, but he should just really kick that out for a throw-in, maybe even a corner, because the ball was never going to go out of play. Newsham taking advantage, getting into the area. Luckily, Andy Holdsworth was able to just, well, get a touch on the ball, take it off Newsham and clear the danger. But with Newsham, if you give him a chance, he will take it.
Absolutely. Alex Johnson ploughing a lone furrow up there at the moment. He's trying to keep an entire defence and goalkeeper occupied by himself. But the clearance that came from King, under pressure from Johnson, allowed Guiseley to win the ball back, and eventually they've caught themselves offside, Guiseley, and King will restart. The left-footed keeper wearing a pink shirt and pink socks with his black shorts today, and he restarted it. And it's with Boston in their midfield, and Ross, the deep-lying midfielder, moving it around well, and he has found Steer on the left, and Steer plays it infield to Ross, turns it first time to Pierre Gianni. Boston moving it well now without making much ground, but taking up good positions and passing it along the ground, and it's Ross again to Mars on the right. Now in an advanced position, looks to set Spencer Ware-Daly free. He's skipped past 2 defenders and then he's turned away from Drench. He's put the ball into the box. It was Rene Steer, of all people, on the 6-yard line looking to head the cross in, and he was his head was with Drench coming towards him, turned away, caught, effectively putting Drench in no man's land, and taking the time to Johnson for Guiseley to Rothery. Guiseley trying to build in midfield for the first time in quite some time, and it's Danny Boschel. Johnson, and it's whipped away from the head of Forrest, and it'll be Boston's turn to break, and this is end-to-end stuff, and Boston coming with speed. A shot with his left. Fortunately, it's along the ground and easy for Drench to collect at his left post. But I tell you,
Safe for Drench, but every time Boston get forward, they look like they're going to create a chance, and you know, it's just getting a bit worrying now, because Boston, they've got 3 or 4 men forward at all times, and hopefully Guiseley can weather the storm.
Yeah, and they were trying to get in behind the Guiseley defence again there, and they have done here with Spencer Ware-Daly, one-on-one with the keeper, and he has Stephen Drench with his hands outstretched, looking at his defenders, asking why he's being allowed to get in behind the defence over and over again. Spencer Ware-Daly really has come to life in the second half, and it's time for Guiseley to make a change, and Mark Bauer is bringing Jake Lawler on, I think. No, Craig Hobson, sorry, for Alex Johnson, who's done his running for the day, and perhaps they're just bringing on the taller man Hobson to give Guiseley's defenders and goalkeeper something to aim for. Well, they're coming under pressure and they're making these frantic clearances. They just maybe want a target man to win some more of these knockdowns and give the rest of the team a chance to push out, Tom.
Well, yeah, it's the case with Alex Johnson. You know, he's been working so well throughout this game, but this half he's been having to just play on his own, hold the ball up and hope that Boston don't really tackle him. With Hobson, he adds another dimension with his height, and hopefully that will mean guys will be able to keep the ball in the right side of the pitch.
And even as we were speaking there, Ware-Daly again trying to get in behind Lockwood. I think he's got the beating of him, of Lockwood, for pace, and so Lockwood's positioning and Danny Hall's positioning is going to have to be spot on, because since Miller came over to the left in the second half for Boston and Ware-Daly's gone in midfield, they've looked terribly dangerous, and Milne's trying to play it through to Ware-Daly or to Newsham on the edge of the box. It's cleared by Guiseley, but it's frantic stuff, and Craig Hobson charging down the Boston defenders, can't win it, and Boston are approaching the edge of the Guiseley area again. Cross comes in to Newsham at the back post. He had a stooping header with a goal at his mercy, and he just couldn't direct it towards Drench's near post, where he would have surely beaten the Lions keeper.
Well, a man of his reputation, he should be scoring that, because it's a free header about 6 yards out. He's having to stoop down, but he in the end, he gets a little glance on it. If he'd have made any contact with that, I think he beats Steve Drench, and it's 1-1. But just going back to Craig Hobson, just a moment ago, he just got a little elbow to the back of the head, and he didn't make anything of it. I know a lot of strikers would have gone down, and although it's good to say, I do think Guiseley deserved a free kick for that.
Yeah, and Hobson's another one of these strikers who free kicks seem to occur when the ball is near him. For one team or another, they do seem to happen, and I saw him as well, like you say, Tom, clutching the back of his head as though he'd been hit in it, and that's something for the referee to keep an eye on. Meanwhile, after all of this, Ross for Boston has a free kick in front of his dugout, deep into towards the halfway line. He's taken it to the edge of the Guiseley box. Boston with everybody forward. Spencer Weir-Daly looking for the knockdown, and a hugely ambitious shot from Rene Steer that looked like it was a bit of a wild one. Turns out it was deflected by a Guiseley player, and Boston have a corner. And to give you an idea of the pressure that Boston are turning on here, every Boston player bar the keeper is inside the Guiseley half, and only one is anywhere near the halfway line. Everybody else in the box. As the corner comes in, Jack Ray is trying to tidy up at the back post, but Steer makes himself available, and that distracts the Guiseley defenders. Miller has a chance to turn, and his pass is loose, and Gavin Rothery, under pressure from Steer, tries to bring it out for Guiseley. It's played all long over the top, looking for Danny Boschel of all people, running forward on the break on the edge of the Boston box, and he finds Gavin Rothery on the right. Rothery under pressure from Steer takes the time to play it back to Boschel, and between them they've managed to get it to Brooksby on the right touchline. Infield to Rothery. Rothery running with it in towards the box. He's forced out to the right, and as he tries to take his cross, it's charged down well by a Boston defender, and Guiseley will have a corner. And you feel, Tom, that this is a really important opportunity for Guiseley. They're going to try and get the defenders Lockwood and Hall into the box. Only Andy Holdsworth and Jack Ray staying back, and Guiseley need to make something of this, as we may be just about to pause for a Boston substitution. And the previous one, it was Milnes who came on for Jake Hall. So we'll see if we can get this one. In fact, I think the referee is. The Boston player's not got a shirt on yet. He's not actually ready to come on, but the referee looks like he's going to wait for the board to go up. And it's
Ricky Miller off.
Yeah, Ricky Miller coming off for
Charlie Sanders.
Charlie Sanders, so it's another like-for-like swap. Charlie Sanders is another striker, another forward, coming on for Miller in the 28th minute of the second half. And so they've got another tall man in the box to try and see away this Guiseley corner, and it is seen away, but only for another Guiseley corner, and that ball's just made it over the back fence, so a new one will come onto the pitch. Martin Stringfellow, Guiseley physio, kicking it onto the pitch. It's got to make its way all the way across to the Pucker Pies Hut corner, which I've just christened such. And Wayne Brooksby will take this out-swinging corner with his right foot. And Guiseley have left one or two men back, but the tallest players are in the box. Not tall enough to win it, though. Guiseley have it back on the edge of the box with Danny Boschel. Finds Brooksby on the right touchline, and Brooksby comes in midfield, goes past one man, gets it onto his right foot again, onto the edge of the 6-yard box, looking for the cross, but he's gone so close to the keeper that his cross makes it easily into the path of King, who clutches and releases it forward to Spencer Weir-Daly, who's causing all for Guiseley, and the tall Sanders now giving Guiseley an extra headache to consider at the back. And Sanders is a tall player. He looks taller than either Danny Hall or Adam Lockwood, and so that's going to give some fresh concerns for the Lions' defence that's already been under so much pressure in the second half.
What it just emphasises that Guiseley really do need to get a second goal with the amount of options that Boston have as the flag goes up. And I'm not 100% sure why there, because he didn't seem to be in an offside position.
No, it looked like Hobson had timed a little bit of a run on the left carefully. And as it goes, his cross was misdirected, and there were no Guiseley strikers in the box, as Hobson himself was the one making the cross from out on the left. And so probably not too much harm done. Still could go either way, this, couldn't it, Tom?
Well, it's one of those. I think if Boston do get a goal, they'll be trying to push forward and get a second. If Guiseley can hold out, I don't see it happening. I do just think Guiseley really do need to get forward, get another goal, and 2-0 up with 15 minutes to go would sound a lot better than 1-0 up with Boston on the attack.
Yeah, that's right. We've had 30 minutes of this second half, and Guiseley have spent a lot of it under pressure, and they've defended resolutely, but they've given away chances. But now they've given Wayne Brooksby a chance to run at the defence, and Pierre Gianni makes a crucial interception with Brooksby running at him. A perfectly timed challenge to take the ball away from the flying Brooksby. He's annoyed to have given away the free kick, actually, Pierre Gianni. He thought Brooksby had the last touch, but anyway, Guiseley took the throw in and Ross came back for Boston. He's tidying up in defence, doing the Danny Boschel job that Guiseley fans are used to seeing their assistant manager doing. But it's allowed Boston to retain possession, and now they're coming forward again with Newsham and Mars, and then Mars plays the long ball over the top, and it's not aimed for anyone in particular, and Drench has the opportunity to take his time, let the ball roll towards him in that way that goalkeepers do nowadays, waits for the forward to come towards him before picking it up. Just one thing to keep an eye on there, though, as Drench picked the ball up, tried to bounce it out of his hands, the ball barely came back up off the ground. He just, as keepers do when they've got the ball, just bouncing it off the ground. And I tell you what, the pitch didn't bring the ball back up for him, and that's gonna give these long passes a better chance of finding a man when they land on the ground. If they're not bouncing up, that's going to give people more of a chance to get the ball at their feet. It's all getting a bit frantic out on the pitch at the moment. There's players chasing around all over. Boston are in possession on the halfway line with Pierre Gianni, almost intercepted by Danny Forrest, but Boston still have it, and they're getting closer to the edge of the Guiseley box again. It's out to Mars on the right. He's cut in midfield, infield, sorry, and good into dispossession by Rothery. Gives Forrest a chance to run through the centre of the pitch, and he sprays it out left to Craig Hobson. Hobson approaching the edge of the box, knocked it past the defender Marshall, and he was a Garner even, and he was hacked down and sent tumbling. I'm not sure if a red card is really called for, but I'll be surprised not to see the referee I think it was Scott Garner. I'd be surprised not to see him go into the book for that, Tom.
Well, it's such a last-ditch tackle because Garner knows that Hobson's through, he's into the area, and he's got a chance to either cross or have a shot. It should be a yellow card, really. You know, one or two Guiseley players are quite angry at just how bad a tackle it was, but I think it's his first offence, and you know he's not caused Hobson too much harm because Hobson's now back up on his feet. But you know, it's a good free kick as well, the position for it for guys, and hopefully with one or two tall men in the area, with the likes of Hobson in there, as the yellow card's handed out, hopefully guys can get that second goal.
Well, you heard what the Guiseley fans thought of the referee's decision, but to be honest, we didn't think it was a red card from here. What Guiseley have got is a free kick on the edge of the box that Brooksby will take. It's on the left, so he will be curling it in. Hobson's in there, Maynell's in there, Lockwood's in there. And Danny Hall has stayed back inside his own half, though. A clear indication that Guiseley know they can't afford to commit too many bodies forward. And the referee just having a word with a few players, a little bit of customary nonsense, but Brooksby takes the free kick now. He's looking for the back corner, but a little bit too high for the crossbar of King. And Boston have the goal kick even.
Well, it was an ambitious effort by Brooksby, but not that far off, and the keeper was a little bit concerned to make a little dive for it. But Boston now, of course, with 10 minutes to go, it's all about them and them getting forward.
Charlie Sanders causing all sorts of problems for Danny Hall with his height and his strength, but in the second phase, Danny Hall managed to get in front of the cross that came in looking for Sanders and head it away, and now Hobson has it on the left. He's running against Garner. Garner knows he can't afford a missed-time challenge again against Hobson. And Hobson plays it back. He's been turned away from goal. And it comes away to Danny Boschel. Boschel plays it back to Rhys Maynell and Adam Lockwood, who plays it long over the top again, looking for Hobson. And Hobson's managed to get in behind Garner again. And Garner's trying to force Hobson out. And eventually it does cross the touchline, but I'm afraid Hobson had the last touch. So from a Guiseley point of view, no joy there. And Boston have a throw in just in front of the tunnel. But it gives them a chance to reorganise after a few hairy moments for them. Guiseley have managed to get in behind their defence for the first few times since the break. And in the 80th minute, this game could still go either way as Boston are readying a third change. We know they've got the wing-backs and Sarah on the bench, and Orgler, who's another midfielder, so we'll wait and see what change they're going to make. Not missing anything though. Boston is still in front of the tunnel, taking the throw in, trying to get the ball away, and it's hoofed clear. Attempted hoof clear by Mars, but it doesn't go very far, and Hobson is chasing down Garner again. A clear handball by Lewis Mars, but I think it had been stopped in the meantime anyway. Maybe Hobson had got himself offside or something. Either way, King will take the free kick, but he's been told to wait as they make another change, and it's Connor Marshall who's going off from midfield, and is it Galinsky coming on?
It looks like it is, yeah.
The Galinsky, who we believe to be a defender, coming on in the 80th minute for number 4, the midfielder Marshall. Guiseley still leading by that one Danny Forrest goal in the 45th minute of the game. Just on the stroke of half-time, but the truth is, it could still go either way. We've had 37 minutes of the second half, just 8 more left of regular time. There won't be too many in stoppages as it stands, but we will see. Guys are defending on the edge of their own area again, but the big striker Sanders is able to win a knockdown, and Steer has tried to knock it past Brooksby and go past him. Brooksby's equal for pace and does well to hold on to the ball. In the end, Steer is grabbing his shirt and clipping his ankles, and the linesman flags for a free kick to Guiseley. No doubt about that one, Tom. No,
and you know, Steer just looks really frustrated that he can't get the better of Wayne Brooksby. He's really impressed me actually this half, how well he's defended. But, of course, now with 8 minutes to go, you know, that countdown, it's fantastic to see it's still 1-0. But Boston, now you've got to expect them to throw everyone forward. So, as long as Steve Drench clear it, that's good to see.
It's tense at Nethermoor coming into the last 5 minutes of normal time in this game. And a long ball has gone forward from the Boston keeper. Adam Lockwood is heading it clear, but he's got a lot of tall players in there to contend with now that Garner's forward and Sanders has come on. It's Weir Daly on the edge of the box. He's been dangerous in the second half as well, hasn't he? And Jack Ray has done sterling defensive work, parked in there amongst his defence for most of the second half, and he sees it clear as Lockwood gets ahead onto the ball this time, and it's come down to the left with Sanders. And Sanders is turned onto his right foot and drills across the edge of the area, and Mars couldn't do a great deal with it, and he's conceded a goal kick to Guiseley. And this time when Guiseley restart, Tom, they're going to want to get a bit further out, and they're going to want to hold on to the ball for a bit longer than they have been doing.
Well, yeah, it's just a shame the way Steve Drench has been kicking it in the last 10 minutes. He's aiming for Hobson, but because Hobson's the only one forward, it means that there's 3 Boston defenders always round him, and it means that they can get the ball straight back. And it just means that, again, Boston are in a position where they're, well, having to attack, as Guiseley just got lucky there for a second.
Yeah, Hobson won the header. I think he started from an offside position, actually, when Drench took the goal kick, but he headed it down to Forrest, who took a first-time shot. Anyway, Boston have got it on the edge of the box. It comes back to Garner, who drives it just past the post. And it's gone out, apparently for a corner, must have been deflected. And since Garner, the centre-back, has gone further forward for Boston, he has been causing all sorts of problems with his height and his strength. And Guiseley are struggling to see this one out. The corner comes in, it's an outswinger. Jack Ray, of all people, gets his head to it on the 6-yard line. Wayne Brooksby tries to bring it away at his feet. There's no one to play it forward to, so he knocks it into the channel along the ground, and it just gives Guiseley a chance to push out 5 or 10 yards. But King will kick it forward again to the edge of the box, and it's all hands to the pumps, this time Lockwood. And Danny Forrest is battling for it, but he can't get to it. And Rothery chasing it down at the feet of Ross. Ross takes a goal kick, a throw-in. They're not even similar, Nick. Come on. And the ball goes into the edge of the box. Lockwood again with a header. It is real frantic stuff. Almost all of Guiseley's team, all of their defence and midfield parked on the edge of their area, but Hobson has won the ball in a foot race against the defender. He's one-on-one with the keeper King. King makes an excellent intervention on the edge of the box as Hobson tried to go round him, and Boston will bring it away on the break now. It's on the edge of the Guiseley area again already. Lockwood with another header, and this time Hobson with the clearance, but it's shanked square. It's going to start on the right edge of the Guiseley area. Throw in from Mars, plays it in field to Milnes and to Mars. Mars to Newsham, and Mars again trying to get the cross in. Charged down by Danny Boschel, only to Mars again, who gets another cross in, and this time it's Adam Lockwood heading it square, or heading it out wide, and it's seen behind goal. 2.5 minutes left of normal time, and this game is still hanging in the balance. Everybody back for Guiseley, every single white shirt inside their own area, and the referee is having a word with a few people. Adam Lockwood and Sanders having a bit of a chat, let's say, having a bit of a tete-a-tete there for our French listeners. Anyway, the corner's coming in. It's another outswinger. It's coming to the 6-yard line. It's Hall who got ahead to it, but there's Guiseley men down in the box. I'm not sure who it's down with him, but Hall went down, and another Guiseley man went down who seems to be in some pain, and the tension now is spilling over into just a little bit of bad temper in the box. You could argue that a bit of a break in play might benefit Guiseley, but everybody bar the two Boston fullbacks and the Boston keeper is still inside the Guiseley area, and the referee's trying to sort this out. Martin Stringfellow's on. He's tending to Jack Ray, who's the player who went down injured, who's just in front of Stephen Drench's left post, so they can't really do anything while Ray's down on the ground there, being seen to. But I tell you what, Tom, this is heart in mouth stuff from a home fan point of view. I do apologise if you're listening from a Boston point of view. We are trying to give you a balanced view of the game, and I hope you've understood how good your team has been in the second half, putting the Guiseley home side under all sorts of pressure. But we are not going to apologise. We want to see Guiseley see this out, I'm afraid, and these 3 points and a 1-0 home victory against the 6th place team would be like gold dust, wouldn't it, Tom?
Well, it'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? And it really could have been all over, because Craig Hobson, I thought he'd just got enough to get it past the keeper. Really good save by King, who has really impressed me actually throughout the match. He's made a number of good saves. But now for guys, it's just all about just wasting a little bit more time. I think we're just entering 90th minute now, so let's see how much added time there'll be.
That's right. I make 10 seconds left on the clock, but there will be some stoppages now, and some more to be added on, because it looks like Jake Lawler is being readied to come on. Mark Bauer is really keen to get Lawler on as quickly as he possibly can, but the referee wants to take a drop ball. The substitution has been announced by Bruce Speller over in the Guiseley office, but the referee's paying absolutely no attention. Oh, now he's turned and said Jake Lawler can come on. Jack Ray's off the pitch behind the goal line, so it's a slightly odd substitution. The drop ball was given by Boston to Rhys Maynell, and Maynell played it out deliberately, I think, for a Boston throw on the halfway line, just in front of the home dugout for Mars, and Boston fans not too happy about that, but they were given the take, and it's been looped in towards the edge of the box. Adam Lockwood has to jump high to get that ball, and he came down and landed on a Boston player, but the ball's gone into the box for Boston, and Lockwood it is again with a crucial header, just enough to see it behind. There were men all around him as we hit 46 minutes. The 91st minute of the game has elapsed, and Boston have a corner with Ross on the Boston left. It will be an in-swinger. Everybody in the Guiseley area, bar the keeper, King. Ross takes the corner now. It's floated to the edge of the 6-yard box, and there's a substitute. Lawler gets a header on it, but it doesn't get it out of the box. It's bobbling around on the edge of the area with Milnes. Plays it back to Mars, who puts it into the box, but it's low and easy to be cleared. And then a shot comes in from fully 30 yards out along the ground from Pierre Gianni, but it's into the breadbasket of Stephen Drench, who managed to get his whole body behind it and hold it as well. He's deliberately taken the kick long and out to the right. There was no Guiseley man out there, but it's just about getting the ball clear and getting some territory for Guiseley. Hobson chased the keeper, King, who had the ball, and that's forced Boston a little bit back into their own half, and King has the ball just outside his area, but he's playing it long with his left foot to the edge of the Guiseley box, and it's that man again, Lockwood, with the header, and down to Forrest, and Forrest plays it on for Hobson to run onto, but it's well ahead of him, and King has a chance to bring it down and dummy Hobson to give it to one of his defenders. And Boston are coming forward again, but the pass is loose, and Brooksby has it, and Boschel has it, and Hobson moving it to Andy Holdsworth now on the right hand side, approaching the edge of the box. He's got a choice to shoot, and he plays it towards the far top corner of the goal, and you heard from the fans here, it was a little bit high and it was curling away from that top corner of the far side of the goal from him. It's all happening. Mars for Boston to Milnes. Steps forward with it as I grab my breath. He's played it to the far post to Charlie Sanders. Charlie Sanders crosses it, and he's hit the side netting. Wasn't sure whether he wanted to cross or shoot. He'd been forced out wide by his marker, Danny Hall. But the ball that he played with his left foot rifled into the side netting. And Bruce Speller is announcing the next game for the Guiseley, which is against Bradford Park Avenue on Monday. And he has to do that because this game isn't over yet, and he wants to catch his audience before they're out of the ground. But to be honest, nobody's thinking about Monday right now. They're just thinking about this game as Drench takes the goal kick, looking for Hobson, flicks it on with his head, looking for Forrest, but Pierre Gianni sees it back. Forrest is closing down the keeper, but he sees it forward to Sanders, who takes the flick on, looking for Spencer Ware-Daly, but Andy Holdsworth is tidying it up. Brooksby gets the clearance from Holdsworth, plays it to Danny Boschel, who has it in the corner flag, and he's just showing clearance, slowing it down, walking it down towards the corner flag now rather than crossing it in. And I think it's gone out of play, so Boston will restart.
This will be the last chance by the looks of it.
Yeah, 49 minutes of the second half played. That's 94 in total in the game. There can't be much left. King takes it forward, and as we say that, there isn't much left. Guiseley have defended a one-goal lead for all of 45 minutes under all sorts of pressure from one of the best attacking teams in the division, but they have done it successfully. They've kept another clean sheet at home here, and due to Danny Forrest's goal on the stroke of half-time, it has finished. Guiseley 1, Boston United 0.
What a fantastic result that is for Guiseley. The way Guiseley have been able to defend during the last 45 minutes has been remarkable. Fantastic goal during the first half, and in a half that Guiseley dominated that first half, but the second half, Boston United, how they haven't scored, I'll never know. They deserved a point, really, if we're being fair, but we'll take all three.
Yeah, it's a classic home 1-0 victory, isn't it? It was an even game. Boston had the best of the second half, there's no doubt. And Boston... We're just having some extra input. We've got a guest summariser here, live on the internet as we speak. We're pretty sure Boston did an awful lot to put Guiseley under an awful lot of pressure in the second half. Was never converted. Guiseley never conceded in that second half, just showing just how far they've come since those early days of the season where they looked like the slightest bit of pressure and they would be in danger of crumbling, but no more. They've seen it out under all sorts of attacking play with tall players and quick players and defenders being shoved up front. Tom to the team on Monday, and he missed a corker today. Thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed it. Find us again on YouTube on Monday evening as we play Bradford Park Avenue, or we will see you at the ground. But for now, goodbye.